In this video, we're going to be talking about layers. And basically, guys, we need to use layers to stack our design elements or even images on top of each others to create our desired composition. So here, for instance, we have a very simple composition of 3 images on top of a black background. So here on the right side of the screen, we can find our layers panel. Including our layers, we have a background layer, which is filled in black, and we can be turning that one on and off. To hide that one by clicking on that eye icon, and if we hide that one again, we can see transparent background, which is looking a bit like chess ground in Photoshop, of course. Or we can show that layer once again. Then here we have our 3 images. Each of them can be hidden or viewed as well. And now let's say we would like to reposition these images. We can be using our move tool. You can find that one in here in your toolbar, or you can be pressing V as a shortcut as well. Now let's say we would like to select that girl image. We can be pressing Command or Control, then clicking on that image. Now we have that one selected, and you can see that one highlighted in our layers panel. Then we can start clicking and dragging to change its position. Then we can be selecting the third image by maintaining Command or Control and clicking on that image as well, and moving that one to here. And you can see that that one is highlighted in our layers panel as well. We can also select more than a layer at once by clicking Command or Control as well and clicking on that layer. For instance, now we have these 2 layers selected. We can start moving them together, or we can be adding that image as well to our selection by pressing Command or Control along with Shift key and clicking on that image as well. Now we have our 3 layers selected. We can start moving them easily like that. And let's say we would like to select only that one and remove these 2 images from our selection. We can be holding Command or Control again and clicking on those 2 layers to deselect them. Now we can be moving only that one. And also can be selecting all 3 layers once again by maintaining Shift key and clicking on that layer 4, and it will be selecting all layers in between, which is layer 3 in that case. Or even we can be selecting our layers in a much easier way. We can be activating that option in here, auto select feature, which will be enabling us to select our layers by simply clicking on them. So let me deselect all layers by clicking on that background layer, which is a locked layer by the way and by default as well. So we can't really select that layer unless we unlock that one, and we're gonna be seeing how to do so in a second. But let's first select our layers using that amazing feature auto select. So if I want to select any layer or any image, I can be simply clicking on that image easily like that, and you can see they are being selected in our layers panel. Or I can be holding Shift key as well and clicking to get those layers selected. Or even let's deselect them again by clicking on that background layer. Now we don't have any layer selected, and we can be drawing a selection marquee like that to select all those layers once again. We can also do the same trick if we disable auto select feature in our tool. Then we can hold Command or Control and start drawing our selection marquee as well to select all 3 layers. But let's say we need to also select our background layer for any reason. We can be unlocking that layer by clicking on that lock, and it will be unlocked. And now we can start moving that layer around, maybe like that. However, as you can see guys, it doesn't look that amazing if we move our background layer. We always need a background layer, and that's why they are always by default locked layers. So if you create a new layer in Photoshop, it will be always including a background layer which is locked by default. So let's go to File, New, and let's create anything, maybe Print File, A4, Create, and you will find that background layer, and it will be locked by default. So now you can start stacking your design elements or images on top of that background layer by going to File, then Place Embedded, selecting maybe that image, which is in Layers folder in your resources. If you would like to get your hands dirty as well and start experimenting with layers, along with me, you can be finding these files in your resources. However, let's place that image for instance, and let's also transform or resize that one as well. By hovering on any of these corners and dragging our mouse inside, we can be also holding Alt or Option key to get that one also resized to center. Then we can be hitting return to commit that or execute that. And now as you can see, we have a very simple composition containing two layers, which we can also change its color. So here we have our foreground color and our background color. You can be pressing D to get them into black and white as well if they have different colors. And let's say we would like to fill that background layer in black, we can go to edit, then selecting fill. I'm gonna be selecting foreground color in that case, which is black, hitting OK. And now we have a black background layer, and also we have our image, which is also including that icon in here. And that means that we have that image as a smart object. We're gonna be discovering smart objects later in detail through that course, so I'm not going to explain them right now. However, they are mainly used to maintain resolution for our design elements and images. So let's go back to our previous file once again. And let's say we would like to lock our background layer. We can be selecting our background layer, moving that one. Of course, we can be undoing that step by pressing Command or Control Z. However, let me show you guys how we can be getting that one as a background layer by going to Layer menu. And here we have New. We can be selecting Background from Layer. And now we have that one locked again, and it has background name as well. And let's also say that we need to add another image to our composition. We can go to our resources folder again, and this time instead of using place embedded, we can be dragging and dropping our image just like that, which will be doing exactly the same. And I find even that drag and drop is more convenient sometimes. Now we can be scaling that one a bit, then clicking on that commit. Now we have that image behind our layers. We can rearrange our layers by clicking on that layer and dragging that one on top of other layers. And you will see that blue line indicating where your layer will land. Or even we can use shortcuts to rearrange our layers by pressing and maintaining Command or Control along with square brackets. So pressing Command and left square bracket will be sending that one to back, and right will be sending that one to top. Or we can be adding Shift key to our shortcut to send that one to the very top of our layers or very bottom of our layers. So Command or Control Shift right square bracket will be placing that one to top or very bottom, as you can see in our layers panel. And now let's say we don't really like that image in here and we want to keep that one. We can be also right clicking that layer to select either that layer or our newly added layer or our background layer. So we can also select our layers by right clicking on them. So in that case we need to select layer 3, and I'm gonna be deleting that layer by dragging that layer to that trash icon in here, or you can be pressing delete or backspace on keyboard to delete that layer as well. Now selecting that layer once again, pressing Command and clicking on that layer or Control for Windows users, and moving that one to here. Now let's say we are happy with our composition and we need to save that one. So we need to save that one in a format that supports layers since we have more than a layer in our file. So we can go to File, Save As, and here we have formats for our file. And by default you will be getting that BSD file format, and you can see that one next to your file's name, which you can change of course. And you will find in file format Photoshop, and also make sure that you have layers option selected. And this is very essential if you would like to re-edit those layers once again, maybe changing your composition or make any modifications to your design. You will need to use your BSD file format, especially if you're going to re-edit that one again in Photoshop. However, if you would like to share that file with others who might not have Photoshop Or if you would like to edit that one in another photo editing application, you can be saving that one as well as TIFF file format. You can find that one in here, as it is more of a universal file format. However, always make sure that you save a BSD file format by selecting Photoshop. So guys, now it's your turn. Go ahead and open your resources folder and open layers folder. You will find that Photoshop layers BSD file format and experiment what we've just did in that video.